for the training, just in case. That way, if anybody was planning to watch it and didn't pop on, they can still watch it. I wanted to open with a question. So at this point in the month, so on the 15th right now, are you where you wanted to be when you started the month? And you can type it in the chat. You can unmute yourself and, say it out loud, whatever works for you. I don't know where you are right now. So are you where you want to be right now in the month? Like where you set your goal for when you were planning out your month? Are you there right now? Emily said no. Okay, Christine said no. What about you, Kaylee? Are you at the point that you wanted to be so far in the month? Oh, there's Aisha. Let me see if it let me let her in. Okay, so she's joining. Hi, Aisha. So, just so to let you know, so I started the meeting. Hi. By asking everybody a question. So, Aisha, how do you feel? Are you where you wanted to be at this point in the month when you were planning out your whole month?
Hold on.
It's fine. And you can type it in the chat
Hi.
too, whatever works. Hi.
Sorry.
It's
How
fine.
are you guys? I'm in the middle of dinner and I just forgot that this was at 8 tonight.
No worries.
I think that I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm showing up every day. I'm doing what I can to get my market partners and my VIPs. I just need 5 more people I need 5 more people by the end of the month to complete my Mo neighborhood during my smart part. So I'm pushing. I'm pushing harder than I genuinely ever have. Because I want the bonus.
Yes, 100%. The bonus is definitely worth it. All right, letting somebody else in now. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I feel like the very end of the smart start, there's always like an epic push that happens in the last however many weeks of the smart start where it's like, oh crap, I've got 2 weeks, I've got 3 weeks, I've got 2 days.
My
last minute rush.
Hey,
my second market partner is gonna sign up tomorrow, so I'll hit A and B tomorrow if she follows through. And then so I'm hoping that by the end of the month, I can double rank in, 2 weeks. That'd be lit.
You could do it. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. You could do it totally. Especially because I see you showing up every day in your stories and stuff. So you're doing all the right things.
Thank you. That makes me feel a lot better.
No, you're doing awesome. Like you're definitely, doing, what you need to be on track for you're definitely going to, complete the Mo neighborhood. So Jazz, the thing I just asked everybody else was at this point in the month, when you were planning out your month, are you where you wanted to be by this point? So when you were planning your month, April 1st or the week before that, and you were planning out where you wanted to be by the 15th, are you where you wanted to be? Are you not where you wanted to be? How do you feel as of right
now? I mean, I feel like this is where I should be.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm mainly focusing on trying to build, like I said, connections, as well as trying to build a foundation for myself to be able to attain every month versus just kind of putting something out there and falling short, where I could just make my goal this and then just reach that, and then whatever happens after that happens. But yeah, I think so.
Awesome. So the reason that I'm asking is, so I know for me, when I'm definitely a planner. We all know I'm definitely a big planner. So this training is a little bit more hippie woo woo than I normally get. So it's all going to be mindset focused, which the reason I want to ask, part of it is that I'm curious sort of how everyone feels about their business and how you feel, because halfway through the month is kind of a turning point. So you either, a lot of times when you're trying to go for higher ranks, you either like have this expectation that you have to have, your career rank in by the 15th if you're trying to rank up. There's all sorts of like things that are connected to that. But the other reason that I wanted to ask is because a lot of people had really different answers. So like Aisha, her definition of in the right place where I wanted to be is my goal this month was to, build the connections to complete this Mo neighborhood. You know, I like Elise and Christine's goals, like they probably are different. Like I know a lot of, them, like they're both like MMB plus. And so their definition of success looks different. My definition of success looks different. And I feel like that's something that's interesting to think about. And the other question, a follow-up question. So if you're not, where you want to be at this point in the month, what's the plan? What do you feel like you want to do or change or push towards to get to a place where you want to be at this point? So if you have ideas, you can type it in the chat, you can voice it, or you can take a second to think about it if you're not really sure.
Can you say that again? I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So I was talking about, how the reason why I asked everybody if they were where they wanted to be, part of it was because it sort of puts things into perspective and gives you like a minute for self-reflection, but it's also cool to see what everyone else's definition of success is. So like for Aisha, she's focusing on, building. Like that is what her definition of success is right now at the point that she's at in her business. Jazz's, definitions of success right now is building connections and feeling like she's building a strong enough foundation that her business will be scalable and sustainable. Christine and Elisa's, like what, I'm not sure exactly what your definitions of success feel like right now, but I know since we're all sort of similar ranks, that urge to be at your career rank already is sort of always there. And that sort of tends to be sometimes my version of success. If I'm not there by the 15th, I'm like, oh, and especially once you have like your like little promo period where the volume starts to have to be higher again for you to maintain your rank, that like extra like, push is there. And so I thought it would be interesting to see what everyone's definition of success looks like. Something really important with mindset that I've learned through this business or just, through doing life, even like as an interpreter, your mindset is the biggest thing that makes or breaks your business and achieving your goals. If you have a really positive view of what you're doing and where you're going, and, you have, clear visions for yourself that are positive and gracious with yourself, then it propels you forward. And sometimes if you have if we have negative self-talk, or we have like, we can be the biggest attack on our own identity is ourselves. We can be our own worst critic. And something that happened, and I've seen it happen before, like with other sidelines, who've confided in me or talked with me, is sometimes we hear a no. And then we, like, for example, let's say we talked to somebody, we spent time with them, we spent time on them, trying to figure out if the business would work for them. And then they sign up under somebody else. That's happened. That's happened to me before. And it happened, like it happened this month actually. And it's interesting because I think if it had been at the beginning of my business, and even when it happened, I was a little bit bummed. I won't lie. I was a little bit like, oh, so like they didn't think that I would be a good leader for them. Even though that's in no way, them signing up under somebody else has absolutely nothing to do with me and everything to do with the relationship with the person that they did sign up with. We can be our own worst enemy. We can talk ourselves into thinking that we don't have value, and it's super easy to do it. But then when I sat and thought about it, I was like, well, when I think about the culture of the team of, strong, independent women, that have really similar views to me that are in my team and in my downline, this person may not have been the right, they wouldn't have been a good fit for them. They wouldn't have had the same values. They wouldn't have had the same worldviews that we all have. And so now that I think about it, it's like, oh, well, maybe it was a blessing in disguise because it might have disrupted our community culture for me to add this person in. And so, sort of finding ways to see things in a positive way once you give yourself a minute, because a lot of times we take it really personally. We think it's about us. But next, I have a lot of questions, so I'm going to keep making this interactive with you guys. So the next question, is where do you want your business to be 6 months from now?
Can I add to what you were saying about the nose
Yeah.
that I
Yes.
on the 8? So I was up till 4 a.m. the other night. I had insomnia like crazy, and I was just on the back office, and I found this 100 no's from Monat, and I went and I printed off 3 of them. And so for every so often no's, you get to reward yourself. I don't know what you want to reward yourself with, but I really genuinely love this because when I get to the DR, I want to post this and be like, for every no that everybody gave me, guess what? I'm still here. I still thrived. I still worked by myself, for myself. And it was literally I genuinely, I can't wait to just.
Yes. I freaking love
so
that. And if you
It's
want to post that into our big team group, you can totally post it in there. So that way, anybody else who maybe hasn't found it in back office yet,
Okay.
feel free. You can, if you guys ever find resources that you feel like for you are helpful, because we all have back office, but if you've opened back office, there's a billion things in there. So there's a chance that it was probably well hidden. So, so if you find a good resource, there was one thing that I found one time that was definitions for parts of the comp plan, and I was like, that's going in there because nobody would have found that. It took me 6 months to find that thing. So yeah, if you find a good resource, 100% post it into that group, label what it is, and then everybody can just download it. It's a good idea.
Yeah. All right.
But that's awesome. No, that's a really smart way to look at it too. Because honestly, if you're not getting any no's, you're probably not talking to a lot of people about your business and about your products. Because there's plenty of people who are going to be like, oh no, I use Olaplex, or I use Walmart shampoo. I don't know, whatever it is that they use, and they're very loyal to it. But at some point they watch enough of your stories, and people who've told you no, they really meant not right now. So 100%. Yeah. If you're not hearing a ton of no's, you're probably not talking to a lot of people. It's just indicative of doing the work and showing up. So no, you're 100% right. So where do you guys want your business to be 6 months from now? So, and it doesn't have to be a specific rank. It could just be where do you want to be? It could be how much money each month you want to be making. It could be a rank or an incentive. It could be just in your personal development, who you want to be as a person in 6 months related to your business and how you've changed. So that would be from now, that'd be October. So by October of this year, where do you kind of see yourself living and thriving as it relates to your business and the personal journey that you inherently go on when you start a business?
I didn't know there was that much in that buckle. Where'd you put it? Back in
6 months for me, I definitely want to be in the DR in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I want to be in the motor club.
That's an awesome goal. Yeah.
If I can at least push myself to be there, then if I don't, then I know I'm not too far from it.
Right. Well, honestly, the higher you set your goal, the higher you inherently are going to achieve. Even if you don't necessarily get to that rank by then, you'll be way higher than you would have if you were just I'd like to keep being at A and B for, the next 6 months, or I think I could maintain this rank for this long. Yeah. So inherently you're going to, do better. And I agree. I'm looking in the chat and there's lots of market mentors going on. Yeah. Same. I would love to have, to be in the motor club by then, have a car that I don't have to pay for, that I can, fill full of, giant car seats and just live my best mom life and roll up to, to daycare pickup like I don't even know. I don't even know what that experience would be like, but I'd feel real bougie and it would be great. 100%. So part of the reason I asked about 6 months from now is to put things in perspective. So a lot of you have amazing goals for yourself. And it's really easy in the current month or the current season of your business, whether you're new, whether you've had a month that's either going the way you want it to or not, it's sometimes hard to remember that the work that we're doing right now is not for right now. Most people don't get to Market Mentor, Motor Club, all of that in a month. Most people. Most people don't get a crazy amount of like people in their downline and a team in a month. Most of the time it takes at least, like 2 or 3 months for you to really start gaining traction in your business. That's just sort of the way that it works. Especially if you weren't a customer first, where you weren't used to sharing your hair and you don't have crazy before and after photos yet. So if you think about it, like how long did it take for you to either become a market partner or a customer? I know for me, I watched Jillian for about a year before I agreed to buy shampoo from her. And I had somebody else send me samples that was not her and didn't like what they recommended. And I didn't buy it for another 6 months and then finally became a customer with her. So that just goes to show like the stories that sold me on trying the products were from a year before I actually ever signed up. So there are days when you might feel like nobody's watching your stories or no one's hopping onto your live and providing feedback, or, nobody's showing up to the Facebook event that you hosted. But the work that you're doing now is not for right now always. Like sometimes you'll have immediate results with the stuff that you do, but other times it takes people a while to get over themselves and realize that they want more for themselves and start a business. And that's how, I have people in my on my team that are like that, where they told me, no, I don't want to be that girl. And now they're on my team or now they're on someone else's team, and so we can't get bogged down in the amount of time that it takes for things to happen. And the amount of traction that you gain, the pace of your business, as much as you hustle, it's really helpful to put things in perspective and remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. If it takes a couple of weeks for someone to really, finally click submit on the product pack they've added to their cart like 50 times. Like I have a VIP customer and she keeps adding it to her cart and being like, oh, I got to pray about it. And she's done it for like a month now. And I know, and she was on an opportunity call that I hosted, and sometimes it takes people like a hot minute, but it doesn't mean that the work that you're doing isn't valuable or that nobody's watching it just because right now nobody's, clicking submit and clicking, add to cart. Now, another question for you guys. What does success look like for you? If you were imagining the life that you want, and not even just business related, but if you were to view yourself as a successful person, what would that look like for you? And I get that that's kind of an abstract, vague kind of concept, but what does success look like for you? I'm curious. And you can type it in the chat, you can voice it, whatever works better for you.
I think for me, I genuinely just want to be able to I don't know if you guys know Dave Ramsey and his like,
Yes,
that free, that's a huge goal of mine. I know it's going to take a long time, but if I can at least start getting that, and like success will just come after I get debt free, after I get a house and stuff like that. I just want to make this business sustainable enough for me to live my dreams, have the freedom, work out 4 or 5 times a week, go to the beach. Like I don't go to the beach and I live in Miami, Florida. I don't go because I don't have time. You know
Oh,
how much
100%. We lived in Florida for like 4 years before we moved back up north, and we were never getting to go to the beach because, again, like you said, we were always working.
on my off days, I have to run errands. I have to do laundry. I have to, like, I just don't have time. I want to be able to have time to go to the freaking beach.
Right.
Like,
when you
literally,
live right so close to it, right?
that would be so, I would feel so at ease and so at peace and so successful if I can just get that to do that.
No, that's awesome. No, and it's so true. Just like, and I know for me, I saw in the chat, Christine was saying, complete time and financial freedom, being able to like set her son up and her parents up, for a successful financial future. And
Yeah.
honestly, that really resonates with me so much too. Cause, for me, I don't have, and my goals might change in the future, but as of right now, like I love what my full-time job is, but it doesn't set me up in the financial way that I would need to be able to be debt free and financially secure. And there was also a big, well, unexpected personal development piece that I didn't realize I needed. And I definitely, my full-time job, as passionate as I am about it, there's no way to be in a leadership role in the type of job that I have. And that's just not set up that way. And it's not that I want to boss people around, because obviously I hope you guys don't feel like I boss you around at all. You know, or anyone who's directly in my downline. But I like being able to help people have the life that they want. And that piece of it is really empowering for me. And I like being able to help facilitate women finding their lane and finding a way to break the glass ceiling. And that is, at the end of the day, the thing that brings me the most joy is knowing, that we don't have to be dependent on, whether you're married or single or what have you, being dependent on your spouse's income. Whether, as much as that might be something that like some people love about, their relationship and everything like that, I like feeling like a contributor, and I like feeling like a strong, financially independent woman. And I like being able to make smart financial decisions. And I've not always been good with money. So like you're saying with the Dave Ramsey thing, like where does the snowball start? Like, where is the extra money to get the ball rolling down the mountain? Where does that money come from? It comes from Monat. And so for me, that snowball couldn't move. Like the snowball can just sit here until I sell shampoo and allow it to roll down the hill. What does anyone else think? Maybe Jazz, what does success look like for you? Just in general, like what, if you were to, at the end of whenever, like say, I've made it, I've done what I wanted to do, I feel like a successful person. What does that look like for you? And you're muted right now, just in case you're trying to talk. We can't hear you.
I guess because I'm in the military, so being able to walk away from that, knowing that I have something to look forward to outside of the military, outside of just my service and that, as well as being like actually being present for my girls, for my family, because I mean, I've been separated from my husband for a long time, and we just have been able to be together really in 5 years. So, but being in the military, of course, takes you away from your family. It's really a 365, 24/8 type of thing. So I'm not able to give all of myself to my family like I had to give all of myself to my job. So just being free from that, like doing my next enlistment and then being done for me. So
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's hard because I feel like as moms, we're so torn because there are things that we're passionate about, and I'm sure that there are things that you like about doing the military, but then at the same time, it's hard to be away from your family. Like
Mhm.
for me, it's like my kids, the longest that they've like not seen us has been like a day or two. And
Mhm.
so they would totally freak out if, if one or the other of us was not there for a long time. And so I'm
Yeah.
sure that that's got to be hard. Um, but it's awesome that this business can be a way for you to be able to be more present and transition to, having a career where you have that time freedom with them.
Mhm.
All right, let's see. Where am I at? Because I definitely got like down the rabbit hole there. Let's see. So there we go. I have like a barrage of post-its because that's how I organize my thinking for these calls. All right, so this next section is a little bit of just some things to think about. With depending on what your goals are with this business, and a lot of you are really serious about it, so like you want it to transition into a career that is sustainable, that you can just do this full time. And the biggest piece of advice that, and it's not even from somebody who sells Monate, but I listen to a lot of podcasts and I've done a lot of like professional development for work and things like that, and a theme that I see pop up all the time is you can't treat it like a hobby. If you want this to be your full-time job and your full-time career where you actually have financial and time freedom, this can't be a hobby for you. And I know that that might be hard to hear because a lot of times people will call it a side hustle, which I'm guilty of that. I know when I first started, I called it a side hustle, and every so often I catch myself. But when I really think about it, I spend quite a bit of time working my Monate business. And a side hustle, by calling it that, I was almost pretending like I hadn't started a full-fledged business, which I definitely had. And so something to think about, the way that you talk about your business, and this could be something just related to being a woman and feeling like, if you're doing this, you're trying not to be that girl, whoever that girl is, but it's a business. You freaking started a business. You don't have to call it a hobby. You don't have to call it a side hustle. You don't have to call it, a backup plan. It doesn't have to be your backup plan. It could be your long con. Like this could be like your full on plan. Like this is what you are working towards. This is a business. You've started a business, and that's something to be proud of. Okay. If you make it a hobby and you have a backup plan hanging out in left field, you don't fully commit to the goals that you have for yourself. So by making it a hobby and, telling yourself that, well, I'm going to do this, but if I suck at it or if I have a bad month, I'm going to give up. How would that propel you forward? Or would that propel you forward? Just something to think about. And I catch myself sometimes calling it a side hustle. But when I really think about it, like it's not like, I don't know, like me crocheting is a side hustle. Like I could just quit it and nobody's lives would be changed other than the people that continuously buy crocheted Bernie Sanders from me. Like that would be something where that is a hobby that I sometimes monetize. Moneta is a freaking business and you guys are killing it. And the amount that you're able to earn and the ways that you're able to show up for it prove that it's not a side hustle. It's a freaking business and you guys do it and you show up and you do the things. So just something to think about, like being intentional about the way you talk about your business, whether it's to other people, because other people notice when you're sharing the opportunity with someone. If you share it as a side hustle, what sounds more appealing, calling it a side hustle or saying, do you want financial and time freedom? This is a way to get that. Which of those sounds better? I feel like financial and time freedom gives me a much more clear sense of what I could have if I decide to say yes to the opportunity than a side hustle. So I'm going to like sometimes show up for my business and maybe I'll make like $20. I feel like $20 a month is not worth it to me, but financial and time freedom sure as hell is freaking worth it to me. I don't know about you guys. And then another thing I'm trying to think. So yeah, so that is something to sort of let just simmer, like as you're talking to people about the business this week. Just think about the way that you describe the business. Does the way that you describe the business typically make it sound like it's a fun hobby people can do, or does it sound like this is going to be their grind and this is going to be what they do full time? And again, some people like don't want this to be a full-time thing and they don't want to devote a lot of energy to it. And so you kind of know your audience. But I feel like for a lot of people, the idea of financial freedom, even if that means an extra $300 a month, like leading them towards financial freedom, I feel like that is sort of the clearer narrative to what it sounds like all of us want. Now, this last section is a little bit more, just going to have a little hippie woo-woo moment. I found some affirmations that I really, really liked. And I'm not really much of an affirmations person, but I found these and you can either say them out loud, and I'll type them in the chat too, or you can type them in the chat, but I feel like they're helpful. And if you guys have any favorite affirmations that you like to say, or you like to handwrite or whatever that looks like for you, type it in the chat, or you can say it out loud if you want. But I'm going to tell you the ones I found, and then I'm going to type them in the chat because I did a little bit of research earlier today because I thought this was something I wanted to add to what I already had planned. So the first one that I found, which is super powerful and I really liked it, was I breathe in confidence and I exhale fear. Like I read that and I just couldn't even. I breathe in confidence and I exhale fear. The next one that I found was what I do matters. I have value. I am worthy of the life that I want for myself. And the last one, I am prosperous. So I'm going to type these into the chat. And if you feel like getting hippie woo woo with me and saying them out loud, you can, or you can type them in the chat. But I do feel like it's helpful just to sort of, and if you have any other ones that you really like, that you already say to yourself all the time, hook me up because I'm very new to the affirmation game, but I've started to really like them. So I'm going to type them in the chat now. There's the first one. All right, so if you want to say it with me, you can, or if you feel like just having a minute with that, that's up to you. But I'm going to say it one more time so I can breathe in this energy into my life right now. I breathe in confidence and I exhale fear. The next one. And you can copy and paste these, so I'm putting them in the chat. The next one, again, what I do matters. Next one. I have value. All right, next one. I am worthy of the life that I want for myself. And the very last one, I am prosperous. And I felt like that one was important to include because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we see it all the time in like TV and in marketing and various things. Like we see money as something that is negative. Like bad people are people who are wealthy. When you watch movies, a lot of times, the villain is greedy and all he cares about is money. As women, a lot of times, like we obviously make less. And so, sometimes we're taught that money is something that is negative. And I felt like that last one is really important because it implies like I am deserving of earning enough money to support my family. I am deserving and worthy of earning enough money to start a college fund for my kids. I am deserving of not having to have debt anymore. I am deserving of a nice car that I don't have to pay for because I've worked my way there and I've earned it. And a lot of times I feel like as women, we feel like we have to work twice as hard to get there too. So I thought, including that last affirmation, I am prosperous, was something that was helpful for me and really resonated, because I feel like just inherently, I've never had a positive relationship with money. I've never necessarily felt 100% confident financially, even if we were doing well. But if you guys have any affirmations or anything else that you think, yeah, Aisha, like it's one of those things. Like, I feel like as women, we have a very strong, it's like, it's not intentionally, but a lot of times we have a really strong negative relationship with money, where money represents security and money represents, safety. And so we never feel like there's enough of it. And sometimes we don't feel like we deserve as much as we deserve. And so that's just something that I've been thinking about and has kind of been on my heart for a while. But that is all I have as far as the things that I prepared beforehand. But we can open it up if there's Q&A, if there's anything that anybody wants to talk about related to your business or not related to your business. I know this was a lot and it was a little more meta than I normally go. But I hope that this was helpful. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Was there anything that has been working in your business, or things that you need to be successful, or to feel supported? How's everybody doing? Oh, no worries, Jazz. It's fine. No worries. So do you guys need anything, to be successful? Is there anything that I can do to support you? Anything that you wish we did more of, whether it's like a different type of training or some kind of contest in our group? What would be something that you feel like you need support with, or do you feel okay? Where are you at? And you can type it in the chat, or you can say it, whatever feels better for you. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, there's all sorts of like hidden treasures hiding in back office that, like, I'm sure at some point I'll find more of them. I feel like there's just so much. Sometimes I look at it and get overwhelmed. So I probably am missing things. But yeah, feel free to post the 100 no's into the group. I feel like that would probably help a lot of people. Christine and Elise, is there anything that, oh yeah, good call. Is there anything that, you two, wanted to talk about, or anything that you feel like you need support wise, or just life, or anything in general that you want to talk about in here? Or, all right, awesome. Let me see. Awesome, Elise, perfect.
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
About like getting discouraged or anything.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, if you know your vision and it is very clear that where you want to be and where you're not shouldn't ever discourage you, because if you know where you're going, then everything that happens, even if you don't re-rank, even if you don't hit the rank, or even if the numbers aren't the way you want it to be, that's just the way, like how Aisha and Jasmine was saying earlier, like that, they're not, like, maybe not where they want to be, but they're okay with where they're at. And I feel like that is like so important, because if you're not grateful from where you're at and with what you have now, then you can never have more. So like, if you keep your vision very clear, then it's just going to happen naturally without, like getting discouraged or getting down, because when you're low, you're attracting low frequency. So when you're always up and you're high, not saying that you can't ever feel down, but if you know where you're going, that's where you'll end up.
No, 100%. And that's so true. And that all it all comes to, it all comes back to mindset, if you focus on the negative, if you focus on, people saying no to you, or feel, the negative self-talk about not, telling yourself, in addition to feeling like other people believe that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough, that's the result you're going to have. If you live there, you'll stay there. When you focus on the positive, like Christine's saying, yeah, the good comes to you for sure. And it's sometimes it can be frustrating if you feel like, what you had wanted, and everyone's personality. And if you've not taken the Enneagram test yet, take it, because it definitely explains a lot. But especially like I'm a little on the type A side. I like to plan things. I like to have, I like to make checklists. I like to check boxes off. And so for me, sometimes, if I'm not where I want to be, I can feel frustrated, but not necessarily in a way but I'm not going to live there, is the point. So it's okay to sometimes feel, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but you don't get to live there. It's not comfortable there. There is no fluffy bed at a five-star hotel in your comfort, like for your comfort zone and for feeling sorry for yourself. That doesn't get you on the trips you want to earn. That doesn't get you, even if for some, like even if you didn't hit the rank that you wanted in whatever month, you're not going to hit that rank sitting there and feeling sorry for yourself. And it's better to have failed knowing that you did everything that you set out to do and it still didn't have results, but you achieved what you wanted to achieve, than to have given up because it was frustrating or it was hard or it didn't seem like it was going to align. Like knowing that I mean, at least for me, like in my planner brain, I'm like, okay, well, I didn't check off all, I didn't get this one big goal, but I did this, and this, which when I look at that, that's a whole page worth of stuff that I did that has value and propelled me towards my goals. So it is, a lot of it is about mindset, and success is not always attached to a rank. Obviously, like it feels great to rank up and it feels awesome to get like a bonus check from ranking up, but you're not necessarily going to rank up every month. And especially when you start getting into higher ranks, it's harder and harder to get to each one. So you may not rank every single month, and I definitely have learned that. And something I've learned through doing this business, it'll be a year at the very end of June, is that, as much as I want to be ranking up every single month, the bigger the rank is, the more groundwork you have to lay. Just like the bigger the house you're building, the larger the foundation needs to be, and the stronger the foundation needs to be for it to be able to stand up and be successful and be sustainable and be a forever house. I don't just want, a manufactured home that I'm going to build on sand. I want a colonial style with fancy windows and a roof that looks nice with solar panels on it. And that's not going to stand up on a foundation made out of sand. It's only going to stand up on a foundation that I've taken time and I've sat with myself and gotten out of my comfort zone to build. And so with that, I'm going to leave you with that, because I feel like that's a good way to think about, your business. The stronger the foundation and the foundational blocks that you're building and the strong connections that you're making, and the more you're pouring into your team and your business and yourself, the stronger that foundation is and the more sustainable your business will be. And the better you're going to feel about yourself at the end of it. So I hope that this call has been helpful. Exactly, Aisha. Yeah, just like relationships. I'm always saying it. This business is not a sales business. It's a personal development program with a compensation plan. Yep. Like the more you develop and pour into, the foundation of your business and yourself, because you are the foundation of your business essentially as well, the better your results are going to be, because you've really taken that time to get to know yourself and to accept yourself where you're at and to really develop strong relationships and develop yourself as a leader, which in turn is going to be reflected in your business. But I hope this call has been helpful. I'll admit it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, especially the affirmations piece, because I don't know, I've just never done it. So I hope that, these are things that you can apply and think about, for the rest of the week. I know they're all things that have been like on my heart. But I'm so happy that you guys tuned in so that I could share it with you. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I do training calls, and some of you have, teams now, like, and if you're new and you're still building your team, like it just feels good to connect with people and to pour into people. And so I've gotten a lot out of this call. So I really appreciate, you being present and participating, and the feedback and the back and forth. I've really appreciated. So thank you so much. I kept it to under an hour this time. Yay, the shortest call I've done yet. So it's starting to get more concise. But thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And for all of you for like hanging in there with me on some of my calls where they went a little bit longer. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Have a great night. If you need anything at all, I'm here and happy to help you. And like I told Aisha, if you guys find resources and stuff in back office that you feel like people need to see and use, it's it is TSL Eats wasteland back there. There are so many resources that I would not even know where to find them. So if you find stuff and you feel like it's helpful, post it into the group. Feel free. Okay. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.